Al McGee with your entertainment ticket at www.yeticket.com. The film I'm going to talk about right now is called Concussion. And I'll tell you, when you see this film, it's about football. It's about how football players are getting hurt, when they get hit in the head and their brain moves around and how it affects them later. That's the film. That's what this is about. It's about how these football players are getting hurt, but also how Dr. Omalu figured it out, but how the NFL didn't want him to figure it out, didn't even want us, the public, to know this, nor did they want the football players to know that they were getting hurt. Well, this film stars Will Smith with Alec Baldwin, Gugu, Mbatha-Raw, Albert Brooks, he's good in this, Paul Reiser, David Morse, Mike Omalu, Arliss Howard, just to name a few. Well, at the beginning of the film, you see Webster. He's a famous football player, played with the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Kansas City. And he won 4 Super Bowl rings. But you see how he was living. He was estranged from his family because he kept acting strange. He lived in his car. He did all kind of weird stuff, said weird things and things like that. And eventually he killed himself. Dr. Omalu was working, in the city of Pittsburgh, and he was working autopsies. Mike Webster's body got in front of him. But because, he had a racist boss, Dr. Omalu, and he had an administrator, well, you can do this, but, I don't want to get in trouble, because you're a Nigerian and things like that, but do what you got to do, but you got to pay for it. Dr. Omalu paid for the dissection of the brain and more tests, cost him $40,000 out of his own pocket to finally discover what happened to Mike Webster. And Mike Webster is one of the baddest and one of the greatest football players of all time, especially in Pittsburgh legend, but also in the legend of football, Hall of Fame, things like that. So Omalu started to suspect something was going on with these football players when they got hit. And, one thing I like about the details and how he found out, then he started writing papers about it, and, everything started getting published. But, of course, the NFL said, oh, this guy's a nut. He doesn't know what he's talking about, and this is not real. Remember like the cigarette people did? Eventually, they lost millions in court because people kept suing and saying, oh, you were wrong. Well, the NFL was wrong. Now, they got the protocols and things like that going on. Anyway, Dr. Welch, played by Albert Brooks, at the University of Pittsburgh, he and Dr. Omalu started writing papers together and things like that. But the NFL kept harassing Dr. Omalu and his wife, which is played by Gugu, and I will admit, they must have cut her role out very little in this film. And she played a Kenyan, and very little of her. She's so fine and beautiful and very talented. Boy, I bet she's just glad to be in this, but I bet she's mad they left a lot of her stuff on the cutting room floor. I'm sure they did. But anyway, after I saw this film, the first few games I saw in the NFL, I looked at it differently, but now I look at it as a regular thing. I'm back to the space, where, oh, well, that's happening to him. Let me continue watching football. And also shows other guys, too. That was a famous Chicago football player. Remember, he killed himself. And he tested him. And then other families wanted Dr. Omalu to test the brains of the, football players who died, brains and things like that. And it kept coming to the same conclusion. But again, now that's why they got the concussion protocol in football. Now, I will admit the acting is pretty good. I will admit that. But, Will Smith doing this Nigerian accent the best way he can. And also, actions and mannerisms of a Nigerian. He's trying to do the best he can, and he did a good job for the film. And Albert Brooks did a very good job in this film. And so did David Morse. Oh, man, wait till you see him. Wait till you see what happened to him. And also Alec Baldwin. He plays a former doctor in the NFL, but then he starts realizing, hey, the way he was treating the guys wasn't correct because they were still sick. He's giving them drugs and things like that. So he's going on Dr. Omalu's side. For the story, and this is based on real facts, and I'm a big football fan, I got to get this 3.5 palm trees out of 4. The storyline, is a little whitewash. It could have been crispier and more down to earth. But I'm going to accept it because I realize this is movie business. Concussion. Very good film to watch. The acting is good. You will get involved in this film. It will drag you in it, and you will start saying things to yourself like, that's horrible. Not the film, but what was happening to the football players. Well, I'm happening right now. I'm Al McGee. Thank you for watching www.yeticket.com. Hey, I really appreciate it.
This is your entertainment ticket. Latest and greatest movie